my greasy enchiladas. My name is Pat Flynn, and today we're going to talk about 4 unusual but very effective fat loss habits. So strap in, strap it on, not that, just strap in and get ready because the video is starting right now. When I talk about a habit, I mean a disposition. I mean a way of being, a mode of existing where you just do things with slickness and ease. So these 4 habits are all about weight loss, making weight loss more efficient, more effective, but they're all based on the same fundamentals. So I'm going to assume that we're all on the same page when it comes to what actually needs to happen with respect. Okay, sorry, we're back. My wife had to fix my hair. Apparently there was something goofy going on. Anyways, we're back. We're talking about fat loss habits, focus on the fundamentals. So we know, hey, fundamentally, have to get calories under control, helps to eat protein, and we should exercise. But how do we do it? How do we get the fundamentals into practice? And this is where these unusual habits come into play. And we're going to focus on doing this instead of that. There are a lot of common ways that people try to implement the fitness or fat loss fundamentals, and they just aren't that effective. People fail. They fail routinely when it comes to maintaining a consistent exercise and eating regimen. But there are other ways of implementing the fundamentals that are more unusual and more uncommon that I have discovered, both working with myself, the worst client I could possibly have, and many other clients throughout the years. And some of them, if not all of them, I think are going to be pretty new to you. I want you to test them out. I want you to really work at these for several weeks until they become habits, and then just watch as all of your dreams come true and you can thank me later. The first habit is this. It's a calorie, not target, but range. So when people go to lose weight, they typically hear, you got to get calories down. And here's the truth. That's true. Calories really are the biggest factor when it comes to weight gain or weight loss. The problem is when people are told to eat in a calorie deficit, they pick like some specific number, like I need to eat 1,600 calories a day. And then they try to hit that number every single day. And I think this is a mistake for a couple of reasons. One, trying to hit a very specific number is very hard. It's very tedious. It's hard to be that precise. It is very easy to overshoot. So our success range is very small if we just have a specific calorie target, just a single number. So even if we're over the calorie target, we might still be under what we need to be in terms of weight loss, but we kind of feel like a big fat loser. And nobody wants to feel like a big fat loser. You want to feel like a big fat winner. So to feel like a big fat winner, instead of a calorie number, a specific number, I want you to set a range. I want you to give yourself some wiggle room, some room to play where your success target, if you will, is just a lot wider. And one of the best ways to do this is just figure out your caloric maintenance. You can use a basic calorie calculator. They're good enough to start. I'll link one in the comments below. And then just set a range where you're going to hit somewhere between, it could really be anywhere between a 5 to 25% deficit. So this can give you a good amount of room to play with, where as long as you're within that range, you feel like a total winner. And this is not just physiologically useful because you're still going to be eating in a calorie deficit. It's just psychologically much easier. You just feel like you have more freedom, and freedom is a good thing. I want you to be free, my friend. So this is all about freeing you up to have more room to succeed, less room to fail, and just really have a little bit more fun with your eating, but still making sure that we're getting those fundamentals into good, consistent practice. So instead of a specific calorie number, you're going to set a calorie range. All right. Number 2, also related to a calorie deficit. Instead of setting a consistent daily calorie deficit, I want you to focus on having a calorie cycle. Calorie cycling is a really, really powerful weight loss technique. It has been scienced. The science is settled. Science has spoken. Calorie cycling is superior when it comes to dietary approaches for weight loss for several reasons. One, it is psychologically very useful to have short-term dietary breaks where you just ease off the gas a little bit and you can just enjoy more calories overall, especially more carbohydrates if you want. And the way this should be done is very simply. I think you should have 5 days per week where you eat in a calorie deficit somewhere within that range that you set, related to my first point. And then 2 days per week, 2 consecutive days per week, I think you should come back up to your calorie maintenance. I don't like to call these cheat days or binge days or anything weird or silly like that. It's just a diet break where you just kind of come back up to your maintenance level, calorically speaking. You can eat a little bit more, you can enjoy yourself more, fits well on the weekends. You're not going crazy. This is part of the plan. It's all part of the plan. So overall with a calorie cycle, you still have an overall calorie deficit, which is what is required to lose weight, but you have these psychological and physiological breaks. It has been shown that having these dietary breaks in a calorie cycle is more useful for preventing metabolic downshifting, nobody wants that, and holding on to more lean muscle tissue. So, second unusual habit is instead of a persistent calorie deficit, which is sucky and miserable, you're going to learn to cycle your calories with a 5-2 weekly split. Okay, unusual habit number 3. Instead of counting macros, which is, I guess it's all the rage, is that still all the rage? Are people still doing that? Don't do that. Just target protein. Just focus on protein. Protein is, aside from the caloric number or the caloric range, is the other sort of magical factor that if you just focus on hitting a certain protein target every single day, magic starts to happen. Protein has a higher thermic effect, meaning a greater proportion of calories from protein go into the digestion of protein. It boosts satiety. It helps to promote and preserve lean muscle tissue, which is going to be more metabolically expensive. So even when calories are equated, we find that diets that have a higher protein intake do produce better fat loss results. That's awesome, so let's take advantage of that. And what I recommend is keep things simple for yourself. Once you have your calorie range figured out, just give yourself a general protein target and just sort of approximate it as best you can. Don't get crazy about it. But what I recommend is this. Instead of the usual eat 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight per day, we've talked about this in a previous video, that can be a bit much. Like if you're, 809 pounds, that's a lot of protein. You might not want to have that much protein. Instead, have as much protein as you want to weigh. So if you want to weigh 150 pounds, just try to get around 150 grams of protein per day. You can get this, and you should get this, from mostly lean protein sources: chicken, turkey, salmon, trout, bear, snake, whatever you want. Protein shakes are pretty good. There's also good vegetarian options as well. I like protein shakes. Again, they're very satiating, easy way to get the protein numbers up. So instead of 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight, 1 gram of protein, or somewhere in that neighborhood per desired body weight. Does that make sense? I'm not editing that. You're just stuck with it. You get what you get here on the Pat Flynn Show. All right, final point, instead of long, slow, boring cardio, how about you do some good old-fashioned metabolic resistance training? Metabolic resistance training is all that cool stuff you see on my channel where we're doing high-intensity kettlebell complexes. It's where we push into the anaerobic zone with strings of exercises performed back-to-back with little to no rest in between. We might move from kettlebell swings to snatches to presses to squats. So we're deeply fatiguing our entire system. We're keeping the entire system working through a series of exercises as we tax multiple muscle groups. This is one of the most efficient ways to train for fat loss. One, because it burns a mountain of calories all on its own. It boosts exercise post-oxygen consumption, so you burn more calories sort of automatically throughout the day rather than just manually, and it promotes lean muscle. And lean muscle is itself very metabolically expensive. It is costly to have more lean muscle on you. One, lean muscle looks better. It's really what most people want. Most people don't just want to lose fat. They want to look overall more dense and toned and defined and all that stuff. That's muscle that's really doing that. Of course, you got to get the fat off too, but it's the muscle. It's the muscly look. You want to look muscly, so you got to lift weights to look muscly. So you have more muscle, you're going to be a more metabolically expensive environment to begin with, and that in turn is going to facilitate greater weight loss. So instead of just jogging for hours on end, which is fine, it's fine if you really like to do it, but if we're talking about efficiency and habits that are going to promote faster, more sustainable weight loss, I'm going to encourage you to really focus on the metabolic resistance training, the complexes, the circuits, the chains, oh my. And I will recommend that you check out one of my previous videos called How to Get a Fight Club Physique if you want to see more examples of metabolic resistance training. So there you have it, my friends. My friend, if there's just one person watching this video, we have 4 unusual fat loss habits, and I want to hear one of yours. What is another habit or routine that you have found or that somebody else that you know has done that helps them to get the fundamentals into place? Because here's the deal. We kind of know what the fundamentals are. You know, fitness isn't rocket science, says the neuroscientist. We kind of know what we need to do. The problem is getting it done. So the purpose of this video was to give you ways of practicing the fundamentals that can turn into habits or dispositions that make success more or less easy and automatic. So let me know what you think in the comments of this video and share your own tips tips, strategies, hints, or habits when it comes to maintaining a stronger, healthier physique. We'll see you next time. I'm Pat Flynn. Strong on.